Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. Well, this is Monday lunchtime and we've just had a very cold weekend where it's gone down to about -5 and we've had some more snow. So we're all now waiting for the better weather, for the spring to come. I just wanted to do a quick little video to just show you some fabric dyed paper that I did last week. And I had a couple of questions on it. I posted some pictures on Instagram and Carol asked me a few questions about it. Hello Carol. So I thought I'd just quickly show you what I've been doing. Now I used, for people in the UK, I used Dylon, and this is a hand dye, you know, whatever you would call it, hand dye, not a machine. It's not to be used in a machine, and it's just like a powder. And I did this in these papers I did in the Pebble Beige. This is Burlesque Red, which is because I'm going to try some fabric with this colour. So this is what I used, and I basically just followed the instructions on the packet. I did use one full packet, which I realised afterwards that I definitely didn't need a full packet. I could have just used a half a packet, because to begin with I didn't think it was going to work. I put the paper in the pan and it just didn't look like it was doing anything. But it turned out that if you leave, the longer you leave the dye in the pan, the deeper the colour is. It gets much deeper as you leave it there for longer. So, so you could just use a half a packet of the dye and you just mix it up, just half the measurements on the back of the packet. I think it was, I can't remember, I haven't got my glasses on, but I think it's about, you mix the dye in about 500 ml of water, I think, but it's all on the back anyway. You have to wash the fabric first off before you, not fabric, paper. Sorry, I also did some fabric as well, which I'll show you. So no, you don't have to, you obviously just mix the packet up. And then I just follow the same method that I do for my tea dyeing, which is I just make a big pan up and I just dip each piece of paper. And obviously, as paper is very fragile, you can only dip it in for a couple of seconds. And then I take it out, put it onto some parchment paper, and then I bake it in the oven for about 5 minutes on about 190. So that I just did exactly the same with this paper that I would normally do for tea dyeing. And these are the results, and I was so pleased with the way it all came out. I did put some paper in the oven that I left for a little bit too long, and I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera, but well, this was some of it. I don't think it's showing up. It's come out very dark, and this was, I just left this in for just a little bit too long. But obviously if you're doing grungy projects, then that'll be absolutely fine. And the index cards that I did were also quite grungy, but and then these are the other ones that I did, which are really dark. And this one. The one thing I will say also is that the surface that you're working on, I would cover that with a cloth or some parchment paper or something, because you have to add salt into the dye mix. Now, I didn't really know whether to add the salt, because the salt you would normally just use for fabric, and I suppose that it helps the dye to stick to the actual fabric. So I didn't know whether I'd need to do that with the paper, but I did add it in anyway. but I did notice that there was quite a lot of salt sort of residue that gets onto the surface that you're working on, and it does clean off, but I think it would be better to just cover it anyway. And then these are the ones, and I love the feel of the paper. It's still nice and crispy, and it doesn't seem to be as fragile either. Sometimes tea and coffee dyed paper can be very fragile. So that's a dark one. And I also did some parchment paper. These started off as a dark yellow. I think that's another one. And then I did do some lighter, sort of that were already an ivory colour. But I was really pleased with them, and very crunchy, lots of good watermarks. And then this is really more the lighter ones that I just had in the oven for about 5 minutes. Some of it also came up with sort of like a yellow spotting on it, and sort of some pink. So yeah, that's the rest of it. Just it all came out about the same, really. And of course, the great thing about this is it's also acid free. So if you are worried about putting photos into a journal, if you do fabric dyed paper, then you should be all right with the acid with that. And I also did some seeded calico, which I'm really hoping this is showing up on the camera. But I love the patterns. That I think that was just where some of the dye didn't get onto it. So really pleased with how that came out. So there we go. I hope that's helped a little bit, and I hope you'll try it out. And I'll definitely show you the journal that I make with these papers. So if you've got any other further questions, just let me know and I'll get back to you. So and I'm now doing another video with a couple of more journals, so I'll be back with you very soon. Okay, bye.